Bye.
Feels like heaven. It's great, that song.
Feels like heaven tonight. We got your dream team in the studio. It's perfect, isn't it? So this is the Incredible Sunday Night Show. Here with me, Polly Brennan, and Glenda, our wonderful Glenda Devlin, and Laura Pearman.
Hey.
She's in the house. She is in the house. So we've been talking about all sorts of good stuff. It's all going to be on YouTube for you to listen to later, and we're going to hear a wee bit more. Laura, I'm not going to, if you missed it, you just have to go back and listen in. We're not going over it again. I would really love to ask you, are we going to do some shout outs first actually? Are we going to do them after, Glenda? Shall we?
Whatever.
I'll tell you what, we'll come back to them.
We'll come back because we've
got
got a whole host of requests coming up.
We've got requests and people we want to shout out to.
So
we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I want to come back to the part about you, Laura, which is about how you share your wisdom as a lecturer in photography. So tell us where you are doing that.
Yeah, so I'm a photography learning practitioner, and I'm currently doing a qualification, and I've just been finishing a dissertation actually to become fully qualified in that. But I've been doing that getting on for 3 years now. I work with the incredible students at Sunderland College, and I'm doing photography. I do a lot of mindset stuff. We talk about a lot of crazy things, creative things you can imagine. Have a great team of staff there in the creative arts department. Sunderland College, though, if you didn't know, is part of a wider group called the Education Partnership Northeast. Now, you know Kirkley Hall in Northumberland, that is part of the same group. So there might be people listening thinking, oh, well, Sunderland's miles away from me. That is still part of like where I work, which is great for collaboration. So if I have a student who wants to do a photo shoot involving horses, I can really make that happen.
That's really
Get in touch with a colleague in Kirkley Hall.
Well, I really love that. We'll talk more about other things that you do, but I love that we've got one of your students here, Aidan. In like 2 sentences, can you come and tell us how awesome is Laura at lecturing you? What's your experience?
From my perspective, it's really she's really personable, really very easy to manage with. You can very easily get along with Laura. She's brilliant at that part, and she's good at getting the connections that you need as an industry practitioner and trying to build your connections and your network as a person in the industry. And it's really hard, especially photography, to get into the industry. It's not something that just happens overnight. You have to ask people, you have to keep messaging people, you have to keep pushing yourself through it, and Laura helps build the connections because she's already got people in the industry who know certain people.
Laura's a super connector,
Yeah,
and I love that she uses that to help you, Aidan, and other students. Thank you for that.
Thanks, that was really
I just
good.
thought we'd bring you into the show there, bring you into the show. So big shout out to the work you do and to Sunderland College. But moving on to you, we got dead excited at the beginning, didn't we? When we were Glenda, we were reading your bio, going, "Oh, saxophone!" and Sydney and travelling and secret dreams and showgirls and
so many things.
tell it. Right, so I don't know where to start. Do you have a burning question about that at the minute?
Yeah. What's the best thing you've done? Because you've had had all these jobs.
Don't make us choose,
Oh,
Glenda.
yeah. Even the best 2 things.
Well, I definitely think that there is a lot of power in travel. Like the restorative power of travel is something that people in cocktail parties say, right? But I think if it's something that you're thinking about, or if any of the students at college come and say, look, I'm thinking about this, but I'm not sure, I always encourage them, just get a backpack, get out and figure it out, and you'll find the answers there. Some of my best friends in life are people that I've met on the road, and we've been through life together, up until this point, but we had crazy times, like in crazy cities doing crazy things.
Crazy things happen.
Yeah, weird things happen. Yeah. You learn a lot about humanity, and you learn a lot about yourself, like your ability to solve a problem, because it's just you. I was backpacking before you could have a mobile phone. I didn't have a phone. I didn't have the internet. And
we didn't have these resources.
You just figured it
stuff.
out. Yeah, you had to go and speak to someone to answer, to figure it out.
And you actually you really had to learn how to read a map.
Yes.
Guys, guess what? If you're under 30, we used to have real things called maps, and they were made of paper.
Yeah.
And they're really quite hard to read, but it was a really great skill to
and
have.
working out what junction you had to come
Oh.
off if you were driving.
Driving a car
Okay.
with
And
a map.
I would have the list written down of like, come on, you know,
Go
on the
left,
M6
take the
going,
steps.
yeah, and it's
Yes.
like come off a junction, whatever, and head towards it.
Yes. But you know, I had a conversation with you years ago. I don't know if you remember this, but
Oh.
it's really influenced me as a parent, right? So,
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm parenting 3 girls who I've brought them up to be really independent and adventurous, and they are proud of their independence and their adventurousness. And the best piece of advice was, you can always have, I don't know if you remember this, always have a $50 bill on you. Because if you're anywhere in the world, no matter what situation you're in,
Yes.
you can get out of any situation with a $50 bill down your bra.
Yeah.
You know, like
It's
just
true.
emergency. It's about having
American
emergency
currency, yeah.
money, and American currency can get you a long way if you're
Really?
just
I
in a
can't
really.
believe I gave you that
You
advice.
did,
That's really
I
good
wrote it
advice.
down. I was like, honestly, I'm like, kids, there's so many things I could tell you apart from wear sunscreen. Just
Have a
get that
$50
$50 bill, get it down your bra. It'll get you through anything, any situations.
Yeah, it's true.
You're like, you know, you can
I
talk your
stand
way
by
out of a lot
that
of things.
advice.
So there we go.
Have you got any examples?
Oh, what, like hairy things on the road that
Yeah,
happened?
like when you used
Hairy,
the $50
squealy.
bill.
Anything you can repeat.
I'm trying. Yeah, so my first backpacking trip was with an ex-boyfriend. I'm not going to give him a shout out. I was
You
in,
know who you are.
yeah.
You're lost. Just saying.
I was in Southeast Asia, and we were in Cambodia, right? And he was doing the thing that most guys do when they're backpacking. He wanted to grow a beard and grow his hair, so he looked like, you know, a washed up wreck when he got home. And he needed shampoo, right, for his hair, but he didn't have the energy to go and find the shampoo. And we'd been out to Angkor Wat, going around these
Fabulous,
Wats all
isn't
day.
it?
It was gorgeous. But you come back in the midday heat to have a break, and then you go back out for like a sunset one. So he's like, I need this shampoo. So I was like, it's fine, I'll go and get you a shampoo. So I took some cash on my own and went outside. And where we were staying, there was like a market square. So there's me walking around, and they had like everything and nothing in this place. And I was like, shampoo, and I'm like doing all the motions for like washing the hair. And a lady came and held my hand, and she was like, I'll help. And she took me, and there was a whole like hairdressing quarter of this market. I was like, no, I don't need you to wash my hair. I'm like, I just like the bottle of shampoo. Anyway, I figured out the shampoo, and then she was like, I tell you your fortune. And I was like, all right, okay, great. I was like now? I thought, well, I'm not doing anything. He's having a nap. I've got the shampoo. Let's do it. So then she was like, okay, let's go. So then she pulled me, and there was a guy waiting on a scooter, and she's like, okay, jump on. So there's me, this bloke driving, and her on the back of a tiny little 50cc scooter, like on the motorway. And I was like, what on earth have I just done? I'm like, this is it. This is where I die. Like, he's got no idea. Back in the hotel, like, where am I? He thinks I'm in the market. I've got maybe my $50 bill, but that's it. And we're driving. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know where we're going.
Yeah.
So we rocked up at this house, and there was like 3 or 4 old ladies, like all sitting out on this veranda, like having tea and sewing and stuff. And they were like, okay, put down $1 and we'll tell you the fortune. And they had a deck of cards, like normal playing cards, and you had to split the cards and read the cards, and then one would tell one, like, who was doing the reading, and it would get passed down, and then the lady who'd taken me on the scooter would tell me what she had said. And funnily enough, some of the things that they said did actually come true. It was totally fine. I got a lift back to the hotel, everything was great. He was none the wiser. I came back, I was like, oh, you took a while getting that shampoo. And I'm like, well, you have no idea what's just happened to me.
That is a great story
Oh,
for the pub.
wow.
Thank God.
Wow.
Gosh.
It could have gone
Do
a
you know
lot
what?
different.
We could dedicate a whole show
Oh,
to things that have happened, because I've got
On the
so
road.
many. I don't know how I'm still alive. The things that have happened, I wouldn't tell my kids half of the things that happened to me because
Wow.
I'm just like, I'm gonna wait till I'm so old they'll never believed I could have made such
Yeah.
stupid decisions. But
No,
anyway,
but-
enough about me.
They were experiences, Polly.
yes,
Experience.
powerful.
Well, they actually
Powerful
were. It was like
experiences.
the lessons and wisdoms were don't do that.
Yeah.
Just don't.
Yeah.
But back to you. So with all your experience, sort of personal experiences of, you know, your travels and your
Yes.
adventures and all the jobs you've done, and so personally and professionally, if you had to give like 2 pieces of advice that you were like, I'm only allowed to give these 2 pieces of advice to like the next generation, what would it be?
Right, so I'm a big believer in there's no such thing as a stupid question. I'll probably say that, Aidan, I'll probably nod. I say that on a regular basis. There really is no such thing as a stupid question. If anybody makes you feel stupid for asking a question, they're the idiot. And the other piece of advice is respect is two-way. Like, you could be young, you might be a woman, and if someone doesn't give you respect because of those things, you're probably not going to get respect back from them. So it's a way of like reading people. Respect is always a two-way street.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one.
Two
isn't
pieces
it?
of advice there.
Two pieces of
Very
brilliant.
good.
But next question, connected to that.
Okay.
What's the best piece of advice that you were ever given that you put to practice with good results?
Probably the Geordie saying of shy Ben's getting out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, ask. You know, you may be asking a stupid question, but if you haven't got the oomph to get up and ask. I remember being really little when I was learning the saxophone, and I needed this specific book. And I remember my mum, I needed her to get this book. So the teacher had said, buy this book. So I was like, Mum, I need you to order this book. She was like, I'm not doing it. Get on the phone. I was like, what? I have to make a phone call?
Yeah.
And I remember like shaking, like I had written down what I had to say. But it's having the oomph of saying, I need to do this, and just putting yourself out there and asking. So yeah, shy Ben's getting out.
And usually I've found that a lot of times people will just say yes.
Of course they will.
People want to help.
Well, the person on the other end of that phone is trained to do good customer service. What, they're going to be horrible to you?
Yeah.
And I think it is a good piece of advice, because again, I'm reflecting on today's society. We know for a fact that our young people are not used to using the telephone
at all.
At all.
I often say this at college. I was talking with one of the development coaches, and I was like, we should set up like an adventure in college where you have to go and speak to a member of staff that you don't normally speak to, and they'll give you a clue, and then you get something, you have to make a call. I was like, all of those life skills.
Oh, great experience.
And you have to do it.
It's the doing, isn't it? Because they know, a lot of people know what they should do, but actually knowing what you could or should do versus doing it.
And if it's unfamiliar territory, it is going to be scary.
We all get scared. I get scared every day. Brave and scared every day. Another question, because we talked about your mentors and we talked about mentorship you've given. Do you have a mentor? Because you've got lots of mentors, but is there a mentor in particular that you just like?
I want to give my mentor Philip Van Dusen a shout out. He won't be listening live. He's over in New Jersey in America, but he is currently on a weekly basis. He's being direct with me the way that I want to, and I'm usually very upset after I have a phone call with him because he gives it to me straight. An example, I had said, look, this is the sales goal that I have for my business this year, Philip. He's like, okay, that's quite a big sales goal. Let's do it. I believe in you. What are you going to do to get that? And I had like alphabetized and color coded all these 14 projects that I was going to do. And he was like, well, I'm going to tell you now, not one of them things is going to get you that money. And so he like wiped all of my laminated ideas off the desk and threw them on the floor.
Swiped them in the bin.
But I've told him to be like direct with me, and he is absolutely doing it. So big shout out to Philip. I really appreciate him doing that.
Great. I know you need those like brave people that will just tell you what you need to hear. And I want to know about your like tap dance and future career. Like when's this going to happen? When will we be seeing you live on stage?
Well, I've always been a dancer, and there was always a tradition in our family at Christmas on like the big Geordie side of the family where the children would get up and do a turn. So if I wasn't like bossing my cousins around to do a performance for the relatives, me and my sister and my uncle Sid would get a big bit of wood out from the garage, and we put our tap shoes on and do a tap dance in the living room. So we've danced our whole childhood all the way through, and it's something I set myself an intention last year for New Year where I was like, I need to have more fun. What can I do? And I was like, I used to love dancing. I'm just going to get back into it. And my God, like my knees are singing after every lesson on a Thursday night, but I can't do a lot of it. But I have so much fun doing it. So getting back into it.
Doing it.
Yeah, and there's something that I hadn't appreciated from that when I was a kid, is how you have to concentrate 100% of your attention on making your feet do the steps. And there is so much liberation in just parking all of the noise in your brain to one side to focus on trying to do the dance.
Amazing.
Like it's amazing to reset.
it's like it's challenging in so many
Yeah.
ways, isn't it? It's like physically challenging, you know, coordination, balance,
Muscle
and then-
memory, yeah.
yeah, and then all that cognitive, like remembering and sequencing and processing and all of that, and then there's all the confidence. So
And
like
I'm
doing
like, like being a girl again. I'm still, if I'm doing the dishes, I'm working on the steps in the kitchen while I'm drying the dishes. Like, that's what I used to do all the time as a kid.
It's lovely.
Yeah, great
So
fun.
when you, so I'm changing the language. When
Okay.
you are, I'm going to suggest one of two things. Either you're about to walk on stage, do your big like showpiece, you know, your performance, or your TED talk. What's your walk on tune?
I can't believe you've just asked me this. This is really weird. I've just been having a conversation. You know, Dave Algeo.
Uh-huh.
He's a
So
very
Dave's
good
been on the
speaker.
show.
Yeah. Okay. So previous listeners might recognise him. He has a bit of a shtick where he uses cabbages and sprouts, and he's talking about mental fitness and change your cabbage problem down to a sprout problem, and you've got no problem.
Yeah.
Dave and I were having a catch up before Christmas, and I said I need to be putting myself out on stages more, speaking. And I was like, but I don't want to be like a boring speaker. And he was like, well, you know, the whole vintage thing's something. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
what about if I do something with the saxophone? So he's actually challenged me to incorporate the saxophone into this talk. And I can't believe that you've just said that. That's like a big sign to me that I need to get my finger out and make this happen.
And do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a case of like when, isn't it? Like you don't. It's not if, it's when.
Yeah,
Basically, it's as simple as that.
Well, you
And
know
honing
that.
it.
Well, and you've got TEDx who comes
Yes.
to Newcastle around. It's November every year, October, November.
Okay, that gives me some time.
So you've got time. So
Yeah.
I would check out and have a look because they're always looking for new speakers.
Okay,
Great.
Herb King, if you're
There we are.
listening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do
I
it.
commit to it. Okay.
Okay, it's the thing. It's
So-
almost like just putting it out there. But the
Yeah.
first thing you have to do is buy the outfit you're going to wear.
Yeah.
Doing it. That's like that is it. That's all you have to do, and the rest will.
Yeah.
I think that's a great place to wrap up. because
Yeah,
think
I
we
do
just,
too.
We just set a big intention. We're going to mic drop it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leave it
Laura, TED Talk, it's gonna
It's
happen.
coming.
Thank you so much for being our guest. Thank you so much for being
What
our
a
guest.
pleasure.
wow.
Thank you so
tonight.
much, ladies.
And we're going to have recordings of this. We'll get your links to YouTube and your website and all of that on our Facebook page.
Brilliant. Thank
And
you.
thank you. It's been great. Let's live high five.
Woohoo!
there.
Woohoo! Laura, do you
So-
want to give a shout out because there's someone's birthday that you just wanted to mention
Oh,
earlier on?
yes.
Please do that
Yeah,
before
it's,
you go because
it's my
we will
dad's
be-
birthday, so happy birthday, Gary Pearman. I'm not going to say how old you are because that would mortify you, but happy birthday.
Great. Now we will be playing Happy Birthday. We will be great.
We will.
Yeah. However, coming up next, we are going to start with the request. I think it's really important that we get the request because our listeners will be saying, "Come on."
We just want you to know we've got them. We're ready. It's all about you now. It's
Yeah.
all about you.
So this is for Gillian. Gillian has sent 2 requests in. She wants The Water Boys, The Whole of the Moon, and Joy Division, Love Will Tear Us Apart.
And it'd be rude
Brilliant.
not to go until wee bit of Frankie Goes to Hollywood after
Well,
that.
there's a,
so
there's
we'll
a
come back.
story behind that, so I
Okay.
need to talk about the
Right,
story.
so we're going to
we'll
come back
on
into
for John.
See you
Yeah?
soon.
Okay.
Oh, you're so cool. Thank you for
Thank you,
taking
my
the time
love.
to come
Oh,
on.
it's been a pleasure.
You're
Pleasure to meet you,
fantastic.
Glinda.
Oh,
And Aidan,